don't you come in for a bite?
Abandon hope, all ye who enter here.
Run, while there's still time.
Would you like some finger sandwiches before you retire?
Welcome to the Haunted Hotel. You can check in, but you may never check out.
Come in. We'd love to have you for dinner.
Goodbye, Nightbot. Finally. And good evening, Shy Smile, Froyog, Namava, Keenad, and then, of course, special hello to Ben Rivers. Benjamin Rivers. I don't know what you prefer, Ben or Benjamin. That pre-roll is evil. We're playing home tonight. We're playing home as part of our October Spooktacular. And the reason we're playing home tonight is not only because it's a good game, but because Mr. Ben Rivers, the creator, is a regular in the channel. All-around swell fella. and has offered to give away, well, has offered to chat tonight about the game and answer any questions that you might have, and also offered to give away a bunch of physical copies of the game, which we'll be doing through PlayStation Home. Nice. We'll be doing through some horror game trivia throughout the evening. Hopefully I remember to do it. Maybe Ben will do it. I don't know. Actually, Ben, if you want to type them into the channel at various points and just call that out, I can read them as well. Anyway, I want to call it before we get started that, of course, we're here to raise money for Extra Life in the IWK Health Center here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. You can go to seward.ca to donate. It's a tax-deductible donation. We're getting close to game day, November 3rd, and we're a little over 52% of our goal right now. Also, remember, all money donated, all money raised through this channel through cheers and subscriptions goes to Extra Life as well. Let's swella. There you go. He's a swella. Thank you, Vanna, for that. Hi, Scoop Jessica. I think I've said hello to everyone. Let's play some Home. It's been a while since I played this. It's a unique adventure, horror adventure by Benjamin Rivers. I want you to know that that logo looks just like him. Let me know if the audio is high enough. Can't always save it automatically. Turn up the sound and turn off the lights. Well, I can't turn off the lights because no one will see me. I'm going to turn the sound up, though. All I remembered at that point was finding myself alone. Oh, my head. Where was I? It was so dark. There was something by my feet. A flashlight. Now I need to figure out the controls. That house. Where was I? Yeah, drag the second shrine closer. Hey, Graph Metal. That seems like a dead body. There was a body lying on the floor. Who was it? Speaking of cats hissing. Ooh. We got something. I heard the audio, but I don't think the effect actually came up. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg, I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home, seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. So, of course, I'm not heading downstairs. A thin gray mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? Why, yes, I did. The shelf was full of books on local history and hunting. Seemed like the owner of the house really knew the area. I might have to go back upstairs and go through that door again. An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for 2 people. There were dozens of beer cans and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. A black and white photo looked like the man upstairs and his wife. I guessed. There was no reason for me to keep this. Did I take it? No reason for me to keep it. Well, then I'm going to leave it. I figured this was no help to me, so I left it behind. The cat sound is your debug sound. Nice. So that must haunt your nightmares then. Collection of rusty tools. These looked like they'd seen a lot of use and were caked in damp smelling dirt. Why weren't they in a shed? I found a picture of a couple. It looked like it had been moved a lot. There seemed to be a switch behind it. Did I push the switch? Yes. It was depressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a faraway click somewhere. Okay, I'm going to go back upstairs. Warm hat. Hi, Warm hat. It was probably a Nintendo Switch. Ben Rivers Incorporated predicted the Switch before it happened. Oh, wait, there's something dripping there. Oh, and I can push up. There'd totally be a body on the... There'd be a liquor on the ceiling right there if this was Resident Evil. Ooh, a computer. The desk had a computer and some papers on it. And a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the drawer? Yes. Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo. Looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? All right, everybody. Ben is about to post a trivia question. This is for one of the physical copies of this game. Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh, man. I had to get out of there. Hey, Gunstar. Blood on the dance floor. Physical copy of Home on PS4, signed by Mr. Benjamin Rivers. Mailed to you from Mr. Benjamin Rivers. Long before Fatal Frame 2, the Sega CD game used a spooky house and butterflies as its main visual motifs. I'm so glad you started with this one. Keenab was really quick with the answer, too. The answer is the Mansion of Hidden Souls. Which was re-released on the Saturn, by the way. As... was it? One was The Mansion of Hidden Souls, and one was Mansion of Hidden Souls. And they were slightly different, but the same. I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was mud caked all over my shoes. Keenad was all over that. The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I had to find another way out. I'm not going through that door just yet. Whoa! What was that? I was not ready for that door slam. Nice job, Keenad. The door was taped up and seemed to be stuck. By the smell, I guessed it led to the kitchen. I did stream that game, Graph Metal, you're right. I have both of them. Saturn and Sega CD. Alright, I'm going to go through this other door first. The bathroom was incredibly clean. Every surface had been thoroughly wiped, and nothing seemed out of place. A sip of my tea from my golden axe mug. There was a photo development tray lying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops. The horror game Detention uses the same door is locked sound as Home. I love stuff like this. Oh, wait, what? The tape's gone. The switch in the wall appeared to have unlocked the door. Oh, I'm not going down yet. There were sheets of paper all over the kitchen table. It looked like a series of names were written down, but they were too smudged to read. I could only make out a few of the notes. Keycard, Ocker, last one, I promise. It didn't make much sense at the time. There you go, Keenan. Whisper your answers. Hey, giraffe. Well, there goes another mouse. Oh, and I got a trophy because I freed that mouse. Look at that. All right, we're going down. The box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I'd found a way out. I must have moved it, right? I heaved the box forward, and it finally gave. There was a ladder going underground, where the box was. A dank smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder? My leg hurt like hell as I climbed down that ladder. The tunnel below was even darker, and the smell wasn't getting any better. This is almost like a nice story time with Greg section of October Spooktacular, because we'll be missing that since we aren't doing Adventure Night right now. Give a mouse a cookie, get a glass of milk. But I had to get out of there and find my way home. Footprints in the dirt looked like more than one kind, and a lot of traffic. The website has a section with a bunch of creepy extras that were originally included only on a floppy disk with the launch edition. That's cool. Places all over were marked on the old map of town, the industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old rail station. Newspaper clippings from the local paper. They were all about murders in town over the last few years. Wait. There were photos. Photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, tried to find some kind of information. A work table covered in papers, dirt, and a handgun. I hated guns. I didn't take it, did I? I don't know if I want to take it or not. Because I didn't take a shovel or anything either. Ah, screw it, I'm not going to take it. I didn't even want to touch the thing. Better I left it right where it was. Oh man, we're going down again. Alright. It was so dark down there, and the air smelled stale and putrid. I couldn't believe what I saw. What was this place? The desk looked old and was caked with grime. On it was a stack of old faded paper covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out, and illegible notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. Excuse me. I can only make out a few letters. He, I've, E, Heel, R, F, all, row. None of it made any sense to me. Yeah, I can't wait to play Space Quest. Is his limp more pronounced now? Ben, is his limp more pronounced now? Crudely made shelves. They looked like they were holding cans of some kind of corrosive. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. More ladders down. It looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating the bottom. Something wet. Alright, we're not going to go down just yet. Some kind of homemade rack slung together with poorly cut wood and rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? There looked to be bones half dug into the ground, and the remains looked old. Who put them here? This is slightly more damp than my basement, but not much. Define small town. Halifax? Some kind of old boxes. They looked like they were years old. Wait a minute. These boxes had old clothes in them. Clothes I remembered throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. What the hell were they doing there? 1,200 people. That is pretty damn small. There wasn't anyone there. Was I hearing things? Well, things got creepy all of a sudden. There's a lot of bats going up that hole. Whoa. I remember noticing... Excuse me. I remember noticing the broken ladder. I had to be careful. I don't remember if I jumped down there or I found another way. It looked to be a long way. Did I jump down? No, not yet. Maybe there was some other way to get down there without risking any more injury to my leg. Can I walk across here, Ben, or am I going to die? Okay. There was a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it? Yes. Maybe the rope would make that broken ladder easier to descend. Did everyone hear the whispering? I remember I drove cross country from Vancouver to Halifax one year in the winter, and we drove through northern Ontario, and we kept coming across town signs that had like population numbers on them of like 100 or less. The rope I found would have let me climb down the broken ladder safely. Did I climb down? Yes. I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before started to get worse. A bunch of old newspapers, wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out. Danger due to cave-in. This is where my Hallmark sound effects should come in. Oh, this is a different door. My hands tingled from the burn of sliding down that rope. It was lucky I found that. Who knows what would have happened if I had jumped down. Still, it was all I could do not to have rushed out of that awful place. That rack, those terrible tools, what the hell was going on back there? The metal door groaned as I leaned into it, causing my heart to skip a beat at the sound. As I peered ahead into the dark of the next room, I worried that I should have taken that gun I saw. But me with a gun? An exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled through there? But it was so high up that it must have been a sore landing. There was dirt on the ground. It looked wet, and there was grass smeared within it. The longest covered bridge in the world. Okay, the arrow is sure pointing me that way. But the ladder's calling to me. What, 12 or 20 variations of the interlevel screens? I could hear a faint trickling sound like water. What was that? I love that all the arrows are pointing to that thing. A kitchen knife covered in drying blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? Yes. Trivia question number 2 coming up. Somehow the knife seemed a better idea than the gun in that tunnel. I feel like I should have gone up that ladder, and I kind of don't want to go through that exit door. Graph metal lives beside Heartland. Whoa! This Nintendo DS was originally planned to be a Silent Hill title, but Konami refused its developer the license. The Nintendo DS game, I assume. The door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. Nintendo DS game. Originally planned to be a Silent Hill title, but Konami refused its developer the license. So Keenad's saying Small World, Namava's saying Dimension, and Scoop Joey's saying Yoshi's Hell Island. I wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked. Namava's right, Dimension. Congrats, Namava. I wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? Yes. What could... Oh, that's... Okay, that's valve number 1. Door's still locked. I wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? Yes. So that's 2. 3 and 4 over here. Wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? Yes. And let's do it one more time. That one didn't sound as good. Dun dun dun. Door's still locked. I'm gonna go up that ladder. Disgusting. It was a mess of filthy garbage bags. Oh, is this Toronto? There were rips and tears in most of the bags. What looked like an old videotape was sticking out. Did I take the tape? Yes. I wasn't sure what I hoped to discover with the tape, but I took it anyway. Let's try that exit door. It worked. There was a rusty ladder sunk into the water, which smelled disgusting. I knew I couldn't climb down that. Maybe I could find a way to drain the putrid water. Okay. I need a hint on. This puzzle is the spot where most people get stuck. I had to learn to be a better designer. That's cool. That's a nice bit of trivia there, Ben. So let's see if I can figure it out. So there's the locked door. One and 2. Yes. Let's turn this one instead. Oh, okay. I can't turn it again. Oh. That's what the clanking's for. And now the humming has stopped. That must be where I climb down to when I go down that ladder. Yes, and the sound's gone now. Okay. What year did this come out, Ben? Why did I go this way? Yeah, right. This is where I wanted to go. Looked like the water drained out of that grate in the wall. There was a small metal key left floating in the shallow pool of rancid water. Did I take it? Yes. Pocketed the small key, but it was so odd-shaped I had no idea what it might open. And now I'm back out here. Safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? Wait a minute. Is that key? Door was locked. I could see a faint light within. I want to go back and try that key on that other door. Door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. Nope. Okay. Unless I'm missing a button. But I don't think I am. No, I'm not quitting. Wow, back when Steam employed humans. Nice. 2012. So many doors. There was a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what had happened. Maybe the VHS tape I found could be useful. I found another dead body, a sewer worker. By the wounds all over his face and body, I figured he'd been stabbed repeatedly. There was a key ring sticking out of the man's pocket. Did I take it? Yes. I thought about the knife I had found with some disgust as I carefully picked the keys from his pocket. I was almost worried he was going to grab me. Right, I have the murder weapon for him, apparently. There are nine SKUs of this game. Okay. That's a lot of SKUs, Ben. I used the keyring to unlock the door. The shelf full of security tapes was strictly organized, though covered in dust. It looked like the tape I found was the one that was missing from the shelf. There was a dusty VCR on the security desk. I wondered what was on the VHS tape I found. Did I play the tape? Yes. Oh no, the video showed a man right there in the sewers being attacked. The tape looked fuzzy and stretched, like somebody had tampered with it. It looked like there could have been two men. I couldn't stand to watch that video again. You know I'm going back to that other locked door, right? Seduce VCR. I tried a bunch of the keys in the keyring I had found on that sewer worker, and one of them seemed to fit. Oh. That's a new noise. A collection of stale liquor bottles covered the floor. That sounds like a record. The wall was littered with dozens of old faded papers. Whoever did this was obsessed with some local murders. According to some of the clippings, bodies had been found in ravines, in the forest, and in one case, dumped in the back of an abandoned truck. I couldn't be sure, but I thought some of these same articles had also been pasted up back in those tunnels. Killer. A faded receipt was half trampled on the floor. It was from the local train station and was for 2 tickets. I didn't know what use it could be, but did I keep the receipt? Yes. I neatly folded the soiled receipt and slipped it into my front pocket. Yes, you have corrupted me. Finally. Whoa! Alright, jump scares. I don't remember where I was going. This is the dead body. More new noises. Wait. This must have been the other end of that ventilation shaft. Whoever used it could have gotten past that flooded room with this. Pretty sneaky, sis. The soiled knife I carried in my boot weighed heavily upon my mind as my leg ebbed with pain. As I made my way up the ladder, I thought again on the videotape. Who was it that didn't want to be seen? Was it the same person that hid all those newspaper clippings away in that locked room? Part of me almost wished I would never find out. As I reached the top of the ladder, I found a latch above me and tactlessly popped it open. Suddenly, I caught the unexpected dank scent of pine trees. Wow, we're outside. All right, let's look around, shall we? Oh, I just saw eyes in the background. There they are. There's lots of eyes in the back. Oh, Ben. So many places to go. Well, let's go one at a time. An old ladder leading up to an ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb it. Did I extend the ladder? Yes. I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. Nice. User 2147 of freesounds.org. I love it. Are we going to write Springfield sucks on the side of the water tower? Time for a new trivia question, Ben. In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? I folded the wallet and returned it to my back pocket. It looked nicked up somehow, and really worn. There weren't any cards or ID in it. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least. There seems to be a slash on the water tower there. From the railing, I could see over the woods and down to the entrance of the sewers. Had I come through there before? Hey, old Falconer. That way, every time Springfield looks at the tower, they will know how much they suck. Okay, here comes a Vita. Here comes a question for the Vita version of Home. So rare. If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. Of course, I'm also standing up on a water tower with a flashlight. Just saying. The other 2D horror game that came out at the same time as Home, its creator originally made a Silent Hill 2 demake to prove its concept. Yes, Yoshi's Hell Island. I tried the little key I had fished out of the murky puddle in the sewers. It fit, and I heaved open the rusty door. The wind was picking up a bit. The night air had becoming strangely chilly. Benjamin! I don't want to go in there just yet. Yeah, I'll go in there right now. So the question we've got out there is the other 2D horror game that came out at the same time as Home. Its creator originally made a Silent Hill 2 demake to prove its concept. That's for a copy of the PS Vita version of Home. The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting the decrepit structure. Graph Metal's answer is Lone Survivor. I think I own that game. And Ben's telling us that this train station area was added 6 months after the game came out? Interesting. Graph Metal got it right. Lone Survivor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I own that. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to that old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course, the map I found in those tunnels... Of course, the map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked, and the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned the water tower, and even this train yard. What was he doing, coming back here? Free DLC. Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, he's outside again. In the torn opening of that ruined train were heaps of dirt and stale water. At the bottom, I thought I saw a scrap of cloth. As I looked closer, I could see that it was definitely some kind of nylon, maybe a windbreaker, or some other outdoor clothing. There was too much of a mess on the ground to see any kind of footprints, but someone, or something, had definitely trod a regular path. Ha! 6 years later, people still ask Ben, "Oh, you're the guy that made Lone Survivor?" Do you say yes? I would. Oh, that's sad. An old ticket booth that looked fairly ruined. Inside the ticket window were sheets of paper and... Wait, what were these? Train receipts? I thought the receipt I had picked up might match these, but of course not. The station had been closed for years. The ticket must have been for the newer station that opened up on the other side of town after this one was abandoned. However, I noticed a series of fresher-looking paper covered in tiny notes, scribbles, and diagrams. Oh, escape route. Look at that, earning the trophies left and right. There, we just finished the free DLC for home. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here, the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. Whoa. Oh, okay. Hang on. I want to finish looking around here. Oh no! 2 exits. Yeah, Ben, so Home Secret number 9, all of the trophies and Chivos are designed to encourage you to explore alternate story bits. Kind of got that from, they seem like things that are paired up to one another. Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back my credit card? Was it a Discover card? It looked orange. I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. Through the fence I could see a dilapidated outbuilding. I wondered if I could find my way around. Is this back where that was creepy. There was a fire pit there. It was still a bit warm, and a few embers still burned at the bottom. 2 folding camping chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over. There were a couple of cans of beer spilled on the ground. The cheap dome tent slept 2 people. I shone my flashlight inside and could see some bedrolls, 2 backpacks, and a cooler. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get so lost. Oh, we're back at the exit to the train station. Okay. That's cool, Ben. Home secret number 10. Jeff Canada was the first outside human to play the game. He came up with a theory for the game I never considered, so I added in visual cues to support it. Okay, we've done that. We came through there. Every time there's those footprint sound effects, the controller vibrates. Reminds me very much of the beginning of Silent Hill 2, where you're walking through the mist and I remember playing that late at night one time with pumping it through my stereo system, and they did it in such a way that it sounded like somebody was walking up behind you. There's never anybody there. You turn around and there's nothing there, but freaked me the hell out. There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after worn page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contained several names. Silent Hill 2 is apparently a masterpiece. I've never really played it too much. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, and Rachel. And those are the full names from that other list I found, right? I think. The light bar is doing something too. It's pink right now. I should have my other controller where I can see the light bar on the front. Rachel, her name was last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. Right. No one in 6 years has figured out what those names have in common? What, did I just figure it out, or is there more to it than that? Oh, wait. No, I was wrong about where I ended up there. Okay. Oh, so this is an area I haven't been to. Okay. A dry old picnic table sat lonely amongst the trees. It had carvings and marks from years of previous campers. As I tried to read some of the names and the marks, I idly thumbed the knife I'd found. If I wanted to, I could have carved something on that table. Did I? Yes. With a few crude strokes, I etched a simple design into the wood, R plus H. I felt like a teenager defacing the table. Well, I'm pretty proud of myself that I noticed it. I am so smart. SMRT. The path ended in a cold-looking river. I wasn't sure if it was safe to cross like this. Did I cross it? No, not yet. In that darkness, it didn't seem wise to try. Maybe there was another option. Ben, quick question. Should I be saving? I can't save unless I quit, right? This is the campsite. There, I didn't go in here. Okay, good. Game autosaves. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. Haha. There was a damp-smelling plank leaning against the stall door. I might have been able to cross the river with it. Did I take it? Yes. Instincts. I managed to carry the plank under my arm so it didn't get in the way. I had to find my way back to that river. I'm not paying attention to where I'm going here. Right, that was where I found the list. Home secret number 11. Ben's wife Nancy made him redo all of the art in the game halfway through. How come? The sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. I'd finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. Okay, so I gotta go find that river again. Where am I going here? I've kind of got myself crossed up a little bit. No, that's not it. Get back to the beginning here. There's the beginning. I think it's this exit. Yep. The plank I found was long enough to form a crude bridge, but I wasn't sure if it would hold. Did I use it? Yes. I think I just lost my plank bridge. Whoa, 2 bodies, 2 young women, were half dug into a hasty, shallow grave between the trees. The younger-looking one was still face up, her dead eyes gleaming against my flashlight. They deserved better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? Yes. I tried to cover them up a bit more, and I closed the younger woman's eyes. I fashioned a crude marker. I wasn't sure why, but I felt I had to do something. Hey, Lactose. The girls weren't carrying ID, so I couldn't determine their names. I only hoped that whoever had done this had done it quickly. I wondered now if they had a phone or something at their campsite. Maybe I could call for help. Should I go back to the campsite? Did I cross back over to the other shore? Yes. A terrible tragedy. Look at that, another trophy. Alright, gotta find the exit again. Crossed up? Did I say crossed up? What did I say when... What was the context? Clearly it's an Eastern Canada thing because I said it and didn't even realize I said it. Alright, I'm going to find my way out here again. Oh yeah, right, crossed up. Yeah, that makes sense, sure. The inside of that tent was suffocating. Olivia? Daphne? By the looks of it, the fire hadn't been extinguished. It had just died out over time. Keep going in circles. Okay, it's got to be that middle one. Nope. God, I keep doing that. Right. There we go. The forest started to thin out a bit, and through the trees I could make out parts of the town beyond and the first hints of light. The mysteries of that forest were behind me, but I could still feel them on my neck like a warm breath. Those girls I had found, someone had taken them from their campsite and had murdered them. Was it the same person who had left that odd notebook? I was even more eager to get somewhere safe and to find a way to reach Rachel. Ben, I have to say, the sound in your games is always great. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago. Almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. It's a big old hole in the fence. Another dead body. Holy... Oh, I went through the hole in the fence. I found the body of a security guard, just doing his job, no doubt. His face was covered with blood from some kind of head wound. I wondered, was this flashlight his? Dug into the ground was a cracked old watch. First my wallet, and now this. Did I retrieve my watch? The watch was useless, but I put it on my wrist anyway. God bless Stanky Butts 76 on freesound.org for these dope samples. Can't tell if you're serious or not, because that's a great name. That was surprising. One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around, like someone had been looking for something. The door was locked shut, and there was a little electronic box under the handle. A sign was pasted to the front that said, "Danger, closed for repairs." There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off to other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear, and cobwebs had collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. Okay, let's check this door. The door was locked tight. It seemed to be connected to the power box beside it. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. Our old break table. The layer of dust and grime only made seeing this sting more. The board contained yellowed clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes to and from the guys who worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. Norman took over a general store after the factory closed. He, Rachel, and I would get lunch every now and then. Rachel liked him because he seemed more positive despite the setback. I don't think I could say the same about me. Oops. Yeah, I still haven't looked at that in television video. The power panel. Looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? More switch stuff. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out, and the face was unrecognizable. The power panel looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? Yes. Oh, we've got power. It was shut tight. There was a rusty-looking card slot on the side. Let's do giveaway number 4, Ben. Do we have power downstairs yet? Oh, we have one green light. There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst from the box. I read that already. No, we're not done yet. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented, like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked there. My head ached, and I recalled the last time Norman, Rachel, and I all had lunch together. Rachel seemed so much more at ease when we all hung out. Next question. Vita version of home. In Resident Evil 2, this is the first item you pick up. Another panel that I hoped could help me get the power back on. Did I push the switch? Yes. Scoop Joey says green herb or herb, depending on what country you're from. A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take the hammer? As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. The locker was a complete mess. Hidden at the bottom, though, was a magnetic card. Did I take the card? Yes. That your green herb did just become legal throughout Canada. I slipped the key card into my pocket. Another panel that I hoped could help me get the power back on. Did I push the switch? Oh, nothing happened there. Power panel's still not working. Oh, there we go. Try again. Does anyone know what the answer is? The first item you get in Resident Evil 2. First item you can pick up. Oh, Vanna, thanks. I was going to ask about that. Gunstar Hero got it. Handgun bullets. Congratulations, Gunstar. I struck with the hammer. The old wooden boards came apart easily. After I'd removed the planks, I left the hammer on the floor. This was my locker, there in the factory. It stank of booze. Oh, I missed it. It looked like it had been torn up. I thought I had taken that picture home when the factory closed. I'm going to read this again. This room was nothing but bad memories. So I'm assuming that was a picture of Rachel that he just said he had ripped up. There was a mess of empty booze bottles. I wondered if that man in the house had something to do with this. Stank of booze. Yes, Vanna, very nice. He sure had a lot of alcohol at his place. Okay, let's go find that keycard door. Secret number 12. Norman is named after Ben's Uncle Norm. The key card I found seemed like it would pass through this reader. Did I use the key card? I slid the card through the old reader and turned the handle. There was some kind of ventilation hatch there. It looked like I could jump to the room below. My leg hurt enough as it was, but I couldn't see any other option. No, I'm not jumping yet. I didn't see any rope around this time. What was I going to do? Maybe I should. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to do it. Oh, man, my leg hurt like hell. There was a crumpled up letter on the floor. It had been scratched out heavily and was hard to make out. Did I try to read the letter? Most of the letter was violently scratched out with what looked to be a ballpoint pen. All I could make out was need to. Just don't. Drinking. Need. Norman. Who was Norman writing to? Phil narrating it as Bane. I stepped out of the factory, glad to be rid of its smell, of its memories. I couldn't stop thinking about that room with the bottles in it. Was that guard I found outside really drinking up there? What about Norman? And who had rooted through all those lockers? I couldn't tell where I was as I looked around, but I figured I needed to get to a road, to get my bearings. Maybe Norman could help. His store wasn't that far from the turnoff to the factory, if I remember correctly. Well, that means I missed the door that unlocked. I thought I was actually going to what would have been the alternate path, or the optional path. But I missed the unlocked door. Oh, Ben, you're doing exactly what Silent Hill 2 did. Someone's following me. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food and slick black bags. I saw a thin, greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was my driver's license, and it looked damaged. Did I take it back? I cleaned the card off as best I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this. I tucked the card into my wallet next to my credit card. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. I had entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet except for the faint sound of a television. The entrance to the front of the store was locked from the inside. Looked like I couldn't just pop it open. It needed a key. There was a bit of blood on the keyhole. What? Greg levels of suckage? I'm going to play Zelda 2 on this channel at some point. The TV still flickered some indecipherable channel. I couldn't make out what was on the screen, but that glow just gave me the chills. Who remembers, man, how many of us are old enough to have been in a dark room where the only thing that was lighting it was like static from a television screen, from an old CRT screen. Oh no, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my coworker, and one of the few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd been stabbed or something, trying to get up. Norman, you deserve better than this. Did I close his eyes? I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace, or if I just couldn't stand to think any more about what was going on. Quickly, I closed Norman's eyes. Yeah, hey, Ghost Rock. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? If you fell asleep, because that back in the day, too, channels would sign off at night. So you would eventually get static. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. Home secret number 13, the thunderous storm sample in this game has been used by band after band for their spooky atmospheric tracks. Nice. I wonder if it's in the sound effect track I used at the beginning of these streams. I'd never been to Norman's place before. At least I didn't remember ever doing so. Kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. Color bars and emergency tests, yep. Channel sign off, I said. And usually they would play the national anthem. Those were the days. What was this? It looked like a pull chain hanging from the ceiling. I wondered where it led. Did I pull the chain? Yes. I gave the chain a single tug, and a simple folding ladder to the attic popped down. Another little TV. There was a large cardboard box that hadn't been sealed. Did I open it? Inside the old cardboard box was a pile of clothes, photos, and even shoes. As I looked closer, I realized they were Rachel's. What were you doing here, Rachel? Were you responsible for poor Norman downstairs? The items in the box only made my head spin more. I desperately needed answers. I wasn't entirely surprised to find this there. It was one of Rachel's old fall coats. I always wondered what happened to it. How long had it been there? So I assume this text changed based on the fact that I found the box of her clothes upstairs. There was a little bit of something dark staining the sleeve. There was a well-maintained gun cabinet here in Norman's room. I didn't know much about guns, but it looked like he kept a few hunting rifles. I knew Norman hunted occasionally, but I didn't know him to be such a collector. Timmy's bear spray incident. Nice. That is a very Canadian headline. I hope to hell Rachel had nothing to do with that mess. Moose trapped in maple syrup spill. Alright, let's go back downstairs. I used the hairpin to pick the lock. Ah, nice. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. You must have been playing lots of Oblivion at this point. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. Ho-ho. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. I wondered if someone had robbed the place before killing Norman upstairs. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. What was the matter, Norman? Cheated on your hydro bills too? There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape then. Of all the postcards, that one seemed to be the most popular. There were only a few left. That night continued to take horrible turn after horrible turn. It had been weeks since I'd last seen Norman, but to find him like that. Who could have done that to him? Seeing that dusty box of those old clothes was a shock. How long had they been there? And what was Rachel doing at Norman's place? I felt like I had only discovered more questions, no answers, but I was close to home. Will do, Vanna, thanks. It was time to find out the truth. Oh, it's raining. Okay, I'm going to start trying to open these things. If this game got GamePro ratings, I hope they'd all be ugly cry faces. It was locked. This wasn't the right gate. The gate was locked tight. This wasn't my house. Well, you know I'm going back out. Oh, okay, that door only led me back. I had to find my house. The gate was locked tight. This wasn't my house. The neighborhood's local postbox. A letter was sticking out, as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at the letter? Absolutely. The envelope was addressed to Norman. There was no return address, but the handwriting looked familiar. I took a deep breath and tore open the package. Norman, I'm sending this to you in a letter because I'm afraid to tell you this in person. What we did, well, it was wrong. My husband isn't an easy man to be with, but he is my husband and your friend. I need some time to sort this out, away from you both. I'm going away for a while. I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him, Norman. So don't you think you can hold that against me. Maybe we'll work it out. I'm not sure I even want to, but he deserves at least that much. Goodbye. Benjamin Rivers says he only ever received one death threat for making this game. I didn't know what to think. My mind was racing, my heart pounding. I had to get home. I just had to. I had the wrong gate. This one was locked. I had entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. But I had a nice picket fence. Music started. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or some time before? The table was clean. It hadn't been used any time recently. The door to the basement was locked. Where had I put the damn key? There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The front door was locked from inside. I couldn't go out, though I needed to see if Rachel was... I couldn't go out, though, sorry. I needed to see if Rachel was here. This music has a very D atmosphere to it. I had found the last missing piece of my wallet, the old photo of Rachel, and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? Yes. Time for a fifth question, Ben. I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterward, but by then it was too late. Rachel was pretty angry about that, I realized. What the heck is the Chubby Bunny Challenge? Why do I want to know? Why did I ask what it is? Because now you're going to tell me. The door was stuck shut. There's an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. I don't know. All I'm thinking is the truffle shuffle. The books there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I looked more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. One book in particular seemed a bit odd. I remembered owning it, but not that edition. Okay, for a PS4, a physical PS4 copy of Home, this 1985 Italian horror film was the inspiration for the Super Nintendo game Clock Tower. My wife's. Rachel's suitcase was sitting on the bed. It was closed, but I had a feeling what was in it. Did I open it? Inside Rachel's suitcase were a few days' worth of clothes, some personal effects, and a train ticket. As I stared at the ticket, I could feel myself flush with anger and resentment. The date and time matched the receipt I had found. RJ, hey RJ, says phenomena, and Cerebus says phenomena. Very close to the same. Very close to the same time. It's up to you, Ben, whoever answered first. Rachel, why? Were you really going to run away with Norman? Was I really such a monster? RJTZ got it in the photo finish. Our hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. I couldn't really make myself out anymore. I wasn't sure I wanted to. Our sink, which needed to be replaced. One of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't got around to fixing it yet. That old house was charming for sure, but it wasn't always easy. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. It seemed impractical at times, but it was part of what made that house home. We're getting very close to the end of the stream, but I feel like we're getting very close to the end of the game. My laptop had been left on and only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top drawer of my desk. Did I take it? How come the bathroom's your favorite room in the game? Ben, is it based on your bathroom? I pocketed the key. The laptop was warm. It had been running for a while. Okay, now I need to remember where the locked door was. The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. That wasn't it. Rug really ties the room together. Hey man, there's a beverage here. I unlocked the basement door. Dun dun dun. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. I couldn't even remember our last Christmas. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key here. Did I take the key? Yes. I took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. It looked like there was plaster and an old trowel in here too. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. We had way too much junk. I had put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck and the drywall was poorly installed. I might have been able to break through it if I found something heavy enough. Oh. Okay, let's go back up to the locked room. Oh, did I go too far? I think I went. No, maybe not. No, that's the bathroom again. I think I skipped the locked room somehow. Oh wait, no, I'm in the wrong. I'm thinking the wrong way here. Okay. The grimy key I had found in the basement unlocked the door. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? There was an old crowbar on the floor. Did I need to take the crowbar? Yes. I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. I believe I went to the far left room on the second floor. Should I go back? Is there something you want to point out there, Ben? Oh, look at that. It's a PlayStation 2. I missed that the first time I walked by here. That goes nicely. I think I preferred the Sega CD in your next game, though. Nice. Well done. PS2 is a great console. I can't really argue that. Did I break through the wall with the crowbar? Yes. With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Don't look. A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all the searching, after all I had seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel. Oh wow, I choose whether it's yes or no. I'm going to say yes. Oh no. My hands trembled as I pulled back the layers of cloth. There at the center, under all the dirt and mess, was my beloved, my Rachel. Her arms were bruised all over and slashed repeatedly. Her clothes were ripped and torn, and even through all that sickening blood, it was obvious she had been stabbed to death. The knife I had carried all this way suddenly seemed like a poison. What had happened, Rachel? Who did this to you? I thought about all I had seen and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on shaky legs and made my way back upstairs. Reluctantly, exhausted from my journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. I didn't do nothing. Maybe I would use some of Rachel's travel books and find some place to go. No matter what, I needed some kind of escape. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store, that forest, the water tower. Was I at those places before? No. No, there was no way that was me out there. I woke up in that house, remember? I wasn't off in any damn forest. Within the few broken pieces that remained of the mirror, I could see my face had grown pale and weak. I couldn't bear to look again. It was like I didn't actually expect a reflection. I felt empty and drained. Perhaps I would never know how that mirror came to be broken. Was it by Rachel's assailant or by Rachel herself? The thought lingered and would haunt me forever. It was the keycard I found in the factory, the one that allowed me to slip through that door. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's, but if that was true, what was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? Yes. It must have been him. He must have been using the old locker room. The laptop had finally run out of power. How long had it been left running? The reflection in that grimy glass was only a shadow, a whisper. The quiet in that room unnerved me terribly. I still loved the old-time charm of that claw-footed bathtub, though it seemed like cold comfort then. Rachel loved this part of the house. Just like the game's creator. My old office safe sat on the floor. I used to keep tax records and other important documents in it. It used the digital passcode lock, but I didn't have the code. Maybe I'd left it somewhere. I leafed through the notebook I had taken from the forest. In it were the names that had been written down. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, and Rachel. Those poor girls, were they victims of the same person who had killed Rachel? I wondered what happened to the other names on that list, or the ones scratched out on that desk in those wet tunnels. The man in that house, was he responsible? When I woke up, I had found him already dead already. Still hasn't explained my limp. It was the letter I had taken from the postbox. Rachel, were you really having an affair with Norman? But why? I didn't think things were that bad. In the letter, Rachel seemed concerned. She almost seemed worried of what Norman might do. Did he do that to Rachel? Yes. I was sure of it. She wanted to end their affair, and that bastard, he killed her for it. A lot of it made sense. Norman was clearly seeing Rachel a lot, so he had plenty of time to plan it out. He knew where we lived, obviously. Is that why Rachel looked so scared when I came home that day? What had happened to me? Did Norman knock me out or something? I didn't know what to think. I just wanted to put this whole mess behind me. From now on, I'd have no one to get angry with me for stupid things like buying this TV. Just thinking about things like this made me sick with grief. I think I did this other room already, right? Yeah, I did. Home secret number we don't know. The office safe in this area originally required the floppy disk in the first release to figure out, and inside the game's box was a real letter you got to read. That's cool. It seemed like I'd seen all there was. Maybe, I thought, I was ready to go back into the basement. The mail still sat there, heaped on the floor. How long had Rachel been lying in the basement? It seemed like that mail had been there for a while. There was nothing for me here anymore. No reason to stay in that house. Did I leave, never to return? No, I felt like I had to think about it a bit more. There would be no more dinners here, no more chit-chat over breakfast, at least not for us. I couldn't recall when I last ate, but I wasn't hungry in the least. I must have locked the door. There was no reason to return to the backyard anyway. Is Castlevania going to come out in time for me to use it to start playing on Thursday? If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Did I pick up the knife? Yes. I took the knife and kept it firmly in my hand. I needed to put an end to the situation one way or another. So did I leave that house forever? Yes. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plan had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. I had MRIs and piles of doctor's reports, but nothing seemed to help, not even drinking. But I swear I had tried to give it up. I know it. The sleepwalking never really went away, though. A miserable pile of viewers. Oh no, Ben, did I leave too soon? But I know Rachel had tried. I know she had tried to be there for me, even when everything was falling apart. This night had unearthed terrible truths, but I knew it was a final act of a long-standing horror I'd been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. Even the man I had found in that old place was a mystery. Why he was dead or who had done it to him was not something I could even begin to understand. Or why, for that matter, I was in that damn room in the first place. After making it out of those tunnels, I thought those sewers might feel safer. I was wrong. The security tape I had watched showed someone being attacked by what looked like two people. But who was it that was attacked? Oh, I chose it. Okay. With Rachel gone, the implications of what had happened that night were starting to gnaw at me. Someone had clearly taken my wallet. It wasn't me in those woods, or at Norman's. But who could have done so, and why drop my things all over the place? Was someone trying to incriminate me? Even more troubling were those poor girls I had found in those terrible woods. Half hidden in a shallow grave, their secret deaths seemed like the ultimate defiling. If I hadn't found them, would anyone have done so? Would they have even been missed? I vaguely recalled the desk I had seen in those tunnels, the names etched there. Someone had killed those girls. Was it that man? It was clear, at least, that Norman had been going back to the old plant. Maybe he was the one who had boarded up that locker room, who had been drinking up there in that secret hiding place. So had he killed that guard then? He must have. Maybe he was found out, or the guard had caught him on patrol. Damn it, Norman, why? After the factory, I thought I might find some solace if I could just get to Norman's store. But all I had found there were more horrors and more questions. Now that I really consider it, that's when I should have seen it coming. Norman, you were dead, and it was damn hard to feel bad about that. It was clear you and Rachel were more than just friends, but obviously, whatever had been going on had gone badly. So why did you kill her? Did she want out of whatever you two were getting into? Were you responsible for the other murders? And of those other horrible things that had gone in that town? I would find no peace, that much was certain. But this way I didn't have to look you in the eye or sit through some kind of trial and wonder what was going through your head. When I had marched through the rain towards home, I desperately clung to the hope that this would end. And I guess in a way it did, but how could I have known how hopeless it all was? I had started to feel as disoriented as when I sleepwalked, to think of it now. When I entered from the backyard, I knew something was wrong. I could feel it. No sounds, no movement. It was like the entire house had been holding its breath, waiting for me. But Rachel, oh Rachel. No one could have been prepared for that. Norman, I will never forgive you for what you've done. Your death is no comfort. I only wish it could have been me who made you breathe your last. For whatever reasons you had, I could never have fathomed that this would be the end. My Rachel was dead. She was gone. And soon, too, I would be. As I swung open the door and stepped out into the air, I caught the scent of wet grass and fog. Rachel, my beautiful wife. Just the thought of her again, cold and inert, shook me from head to toe. What would I do now? Who could I turn to? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbors knew. The front lawn was soft and giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I shouldn't stand there, but rather that I should run. It is pretty wordy. So that was one of multiple endings. Yeah, I did leave, you're right. I probably could have stuck around and tried a few more things. There you go. That was Home. That was one ending of Home. By Mr. Ben Rivers, who's in the chat and been giving away the games. He's got one more game to give away. It's all you, Benjamin. Final trivia question of the night. There's a picture of Ben right there. Excuse me. In this Wii U game, the camera points behind you on the TV as you rummage through bags for supplies on the gamepad. in this Wii U game, the camera points behind you on the TV as you rummage through bags for supplies on the gamepad. Cerebus and Scoop Joey both said Zombie U. Zombie. I think Cerebus won that one, Scoop Joey. But wait a minute. Before we award to Cerebus, did he spell it right? I'm just kidding. Yeah, see, I knew RJ would bring that up. I don't know, but did Scoop Joey spell it right? Yeah. Both of them spelled it wrong, so I think it has to go to Cerebus. So listen, that was home. Thank you, Ben, so much for hanging out in the chat. We love having you as part of the community here anyway. But this was Ben's idea. Ben came forward and offered to do this months ago, and then when I ended up doing sort of a Halloween theme, of course, this fit perfectly. Super generous of you, Ben. Thank you so much for that. And of course, thank you to everybody who comes and hangs out almost every night, watches me when I stream. Really, really appreciate your support. Really, really appreciate you hanging out while I'm playing. I hope you enjoyed this game tonight. I thought it was quite good, and it's great to have an excuse to play through it. We're going to be back on Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the rest of October. And remember, we're coming up on the actual Extra Life stream day on November 3rd. I still have like 6 hours to schedule, which can be scheduled by making a $50 donation and choosing a Genesis game for me to play. Thank you so much for your support tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a great time. Again, super special extra thanks to Ben for coming up with this idea, for generously giving away copies of his game, and for hanging out and chatting with us and giving us some insight into the development of the game. It's very cool stuff. Hope you all had a great evening. See you again on Thursday. Good night.
Ha 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 ha!